Hello, my name is Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about the me never becomes enlightened. This is probably demoralizing for some, but it is the absolute truth. The me never becomes enlightened. It's an impossibility. And it comes down to two misconceptions, the idea of me becoming enlightened. One is the phrase becoming enlightened, as if it's some state that you get into, and if you're lucky, you'll stay in. Enlightenment is not a state. Enlightenment is not an experience. States and experiences come and go, fundamentally. So there's no becoming some state or becoming some experience. There's no becoming, frankly, in terms of the self. You are already the self. As Ramana Maharshi once said, just be as you are. You are the self already. You don't need to become the self. You are the self. But enlightenment is the visceral, sudden realization of that which has always been the case. Realizing the self, or no longer being fooled by the illusion of duality and separation. And this fundamental division of separation and otherness hinges upon a me. The me is separation and division. For with me, other arises. If there's no other, there's really there's no me, there's no other. And so, enlightenment is a shattering of the illusion of me. And so that me never becomes enlightened. Enlightenment is freedom from the me. It is instead realizing self, which has always been the case. Brahman, which has always been the case. Consciousness, which has always been the case. It's strange to talk about a becoming when it's already always been the case. The only thing that's changing is the imagination, the misconception and misunderstanding that you're other in some way. To put it in another way, it's, you can imagine that there are a multitude of drops in the ocean, and the ocean is formed of all these drops. And as long as you've got the idea of a drop, that drop will never become the ocean. Fundamentally, by definition, for there to be a drop means it's not the ocean. For there to be an individual me, fundamentally, that's denying the self, denying Brahman. And so there's no way for the drop to become the ocean. Instead, the ocean realizes it's always been ocean. The illusion of there being a drop, that imaginary concept of there being a drop, is shattered. And it leaves just the ocean. And so, in the whole question of a me becoming enlightened, I have, like I said, two issues with that. The whole idea of becoming, because it's impossible for the drop to become an ocean, but also the whole idea of there a me getting somewhere and getting there, because, like I said, enlightenment is freedom from the me. And so the me fundamentally can't get there. As long as the me is there, it's not free. The me fundamentally is tied to limitation and boundaries and having a center and otherness. And so all those seekers that are out there trying to become enlightened and having this base thought of someday I will be enlightened. Sorry to disappoint, but that me will never become enlightened. Instead, that me will shatter. That idea of a me getting somewhere will shatter, leaving that which has always been the case. Leaving that which has ever been free. Bondage, limitation was simply imagined, did not exist. And so, I guess the point of this video is to let go of the idea of the me getting somewhere. The me never gets it. The me can't get there. I talk about, in some of my videos when I talk about what to do, I talk about looking at the me and diminishing the me. And while this is a practice that does make enlightenment more conducive to happen, in no way can diminishing the me ever totally succeed, because it's one of those curves that approaches zero and then flattens out and never reaches zero. It's always above zero. Because as the me is diminished, fundamentally in the end, you're left with the me that is trying to diminish the me. That very act of a me reinforces the idea that there's even a me in the first place. And so in the end, there's always that little bit of me, and that me can never get to know me. That me can never get to enlightenment or realizing, which has always been the case. That me is the barrier. That me is the veil. And in the end, it is that idea of me that implodes and collapses. Not that it is totally destroyed. It's just like a mirage. The mirage is seen through. And when the mirage is seen through, you know there's no water, and so there's no craving for water, and there's no suffering when you can't get the water. The illusion no longer causes issues. The mirage doesn't cause confusion. It doesn't have to disappear, but the illusion collapses and implodes. It just can't be believed anymore. And that's why with enlightenment, the me simply can no longer be believed. There is no me. There never was division in the first place. It was imagined. So, something to ponder and kind of let settle. And maybe let go a bit of the idea that one day the me will succeed, because the me will never succeed. And that's why some teachers will say, just surrender, let it go. The me can't do anything about it anyway. Anyways, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. And until next time, thank you much.